Hey guys, got a question for you. Something for, let's say, discussion. Something that was brought up recently, and I hadn't thought about it in a lot of years, really. If you're a mechanic, or if you're just starting out as a mechanic, or retired mechanic, or whatever, or just like to put in your input, what's your thoughts on flat rate? Now, when I started out, like most people, working in the field, I started as a flat rate guy. There's times I hated it. Man, there was times I loved it, because let's look at it this way. If you're working a job that is supposed to pay 2.5 hours, and you're working in a place where that's a pretty common job that comes through there, whatever that is, and I'm pulling these numbers out of the air. That's a pretty common job that comes through there. You get good at it, you probably could squeak it down to 2 hours instead of 2.5, or maybe even just under 2 hours, and do a bunch of them in a day. You start making money. Now, on the flip side of that, the days I hated it was when I'm in South Carolina, something from, Ohio or Indiana that was bought at auction, or Canada or whatever, would come in, and it was absolutely rusty. And that one bolt wouldn't come out, and you'd end up having to cut that bolt out and grind it down and then drill and tap, and that 2.5 hour job turns into a 8 or 10 hour job. That day you didn't make no money. So I had a love-hate relationship with it. The older I get, the more I see the value in flat rate. The more I can kind of, in my mind, justify why shops use flat rate. Because honestly, let's look at it. That same example. If a job comes in, it's only supposed to take 2.5 hours, and they're paying you just an hourly rate, whatever that is, and it takes you 10 hours to do that job. It's supposed to be 2 hours. Well, the shop's not making any money either if they're charging like that. Now, I know probably they would charge different. I mean, it would be a whole thing, but let's just, for conversation, say this. They're paying one guy 10 hours to wrestle with a bolt. Whereas if it's flat rate, then they're only spending the exact amount of money. Well, not the exact amount of money, but they're only spending the amount of money they're making, or the amount of hours they're making instead of money. You understand what I'm trying to say? What's your thoughts? Flat rate a good idea or a bad idea? You let me know.